And we're done. We're live. Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming to Rewriting Reality. Sorry, it took a second to get started there. But we are live. We're having fun. We are ready to change reality for a bunch of people as soon as I start the recording. Okay. There we go. So, for anyone that is new to the show, sometimes I am just clearing people's beliefs that suck, and sometimes I have people on that I am interviewing, and we're getting stories on how you've done a major rewrite in your reality. So if you've ever worked with me and you've had a major reality shift, you are welcome to actually be a guest and talk about that shift. And I also work with people who have just had a major shift in their lives and rewritten their reality in a big way. So this week, though, I am working on people. We've got a bunch of people all set and in the wings watching me just talk to a void. Well, I'm sure there's people out there listening, but I'm just talking at the moment. So when it comes to clearing people, what happens is I'm going to have some conversations with the people that are calling in. And when I talk to you, I can tell when your conscious beliefs match your unconscious beliefs. So I know whenever you are lying. And I don't care if you're lying to me, I care if you're lying to you. So just going to the breakthrough page to make sure we're live and going. There it is. I can see me. Yes. Okay. Now, once we find out there's a lie, we're going to dig down and find out what the belief or story is behind the lie. So as an example, if I say, you say, I'd like to have an amazing relationship and I'm just not meeting the right people. And I will say, oh, well, that's not actually coming up true. And you'll say, what do you mean? I said, do you actually want to be in a relationship? And you'll say, yes. And I was like, no, that's not true. So let's find out why you don't want to be in a relationship, because we've detected a lie, even though you think it's true. And then as we explore what's going on in your life, it could be that your last partner broke up with you and it devastated you. And you've decided you never want to feel like that again. Well, the best way not to feel that way is to never get into a relationship again. And if you're, hey, Heather, how's it going? If you're never in a relationship, you can't get hurt like that again. So while you consciously think you want a relationship, unconsciously, it's like, no, got to avoid that feeling the best way, the most effective way as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get in a relationship. And so consciously, relationships just aren't working. You're not meeting people. But unconsciously, it's like, oh, perfect. This is amazing. Let's just keep it that way. So when I discover a belief or a story, and a story is just a belief that keeps repeating. If you ever used expressions like always happens to me, story of my life, every time I try this, that's all stories running on based on beliefs. When we get to it, I'm going to say, are you willing to destroy the belief or step out of the story? If you say yes, and you mean it, you have to mean it or it doesn't work, then the belief shifts in that moment. And when it does on my end, I will start yawning or coughing because my body is sensitive to energy. And it doesn't matter that we're online and it's going across hundreds or thousands of miles or kilometers, depending on what country you're in. Energy doesn't care about time and space, so I react. And as far as what happens with you, I don't know, because everyone reacts differently. Some people don't feel a shift. Some people feel, I just worked with someone who's like, I just feel sort of light and sort of almost like a heat in my chest. And I feel relieved that that's gone. And so that's a very, very common reaction. But other people have more physical things in. This morning during a call, one person started to get really cold at the same time. Someone got really hot because they were both clearing the same belief, but in different ways. And we've had other coughers, burpers, yawners, and people that have little muscle twitches, and nausea is not uncommon, especially if it's a deep emotional belief. And once or twice, we've actually had people throw up on the call. So that's always fun. Those people now know to keep buckets near them just in case we get to that deep release. And, you know, you just got to learn to work with what you're given. So, yeah, and there's one person laughing in the chat who is a person that likes to keep the bucket nearby. Okay. And so that's what's going to happen today. And we've got lots of time. So for the people that are on the Zoom chat, all you need to do is go to participants and click on that, and you have the option to raise your hand. And Breakthrough Show Live with Heather Clark. Oh, okay, look, comments over here. Cool. We're getting comments on Facebook and we're getting comments on Zoom, so I've got to go back and forth. This will be fun. Okay. So I've completely lost my train of thought. Okay, yeah, you put up your hand, and then I am going to start picking people and working on them. And we're going to see what kind of crazy things can come up. Now, when I choose you, I'm going to promote you to a panelist so I can see you. So be prepared to have your video on, because I don't like chatting to someone's wallpaper. I think it's wallpaper. We're going to start with Angela.
Hello.
Hello. Do you have a camera working?
Yeah.
There you are.
No.
Welcome.
Hi.
What would you like to work on?
So last time you helped me already.
Oh, okay.
The last time the crazy thing came up, that it's not okay to heal myself. And after the shift, I started direction, and I found a lot of help. And nice. now I need again help, because what very often happens when I feel more energy and I feel more healthy, then something happens, an accident or whatever.
Okay.
And I'm back in a lack of energy. And I think the root of everything is that at some point in my life, I swore to myself that I don't trust anymore in the divine power, because I was so much shocked. But this is an unconscious thing, and actually, I think it's different. But
okay. Well, if you're stating it, it doesn't feel like it's unconscious. It feels like it's very conscious. If you're not going to trust the divine power,
but doesn't change.
okay.
I'm yeah.
So, why do you need to change your mind and trust the divine power?
That I can be without pain, and that I can start to do the things that I would love to do, that I have energy for that.
Okay. But there's a lot of people out there that don't trust the divine power that are not in pain. So why is it a requirement that you have to trust it to get rid of your pain? You've created this belief that you don't want to trust the divine power, and the only way you can not be in pain is to trust the divine power. You've given yourself a binary choice. It's one or the other. But really, there's all these other choices available to you. So if you'd like to start trusting a divine power, that's something you can work on. But the way I look at it is, you know, it's still sort of a divine concept, but we are all just connected. And there's just this tapestry of the universe where we're just one being having perceptions through different bodies. And so when you look at it that way, you are part of the divine. It's not something you need to believe in. It's just you. And so then it just comes down to, are you believing in yourself? Are you believing you can get out of pain? You can create whatever life you want, whether or not there's divine power, because you're connected anyway. So The one problem with trusting in a divine power is trusting the right way, because the way I explain it to people, the universe always has your back based on your prominent unconscious beliefs. So whatever you decide at an unconscious level, this is how I want reality to show up. Your universe is like, here it is. It's going to show up for you. But you're the one making the decision. The universe is just giving more power to it. But a lot of people think about it as, I need the universe to save me. I need the universe to just bestow these blessings on me so my life will change. And when you're in that mode, you're not in any power. You are a victim. You are hoping to be saved. You are hoping for the universe to come and make everything better. And it's so disempowering that you cannot actually create any change because you think you're not the one responsible for the change. I want you to be in a place of saying, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to make the decisions. I'm going to shift my beliefs. And as a result, my life will change. It has to, by divine force, by the nature of how the universe works. Once I decide this is so, it has to be so. In that place, you're not a victim. You're not waiting to be saved. You're not waiting for things to change. Things will just start to change for you. So are you willing to step out of your story that you need the universe to save you?
Yes.
Ooh. Are you willing to step out of the story that you are not powerful enough to change your reality by yourself?
Yes.
And are you willing to step out of your story that every time things start to go well and you get out of pain and you get out of problems, something happens to make it all come back?
The connection was very bad. Can you say it again?
Okay, so again, are you willing to step out of the story that every time things are going well, you get out of pain and you get out of your problems, something happens to make it all come back?
Yes.
Okay, you're saying yes, but that's not a real yes. What would happen if you just got out of it and things were fine? What would your life be like?
I would start to work the things I love to work.
Okay, so that's not actually coming up true.
No.
Is there anything
What
wrong?
would I do if I would?
Yeah. Is there anything wrong with your life being fine, with everything just going along well? Is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah, but I don't know why.
Okay. Would you feel guilty if your life was?
Yes, but I don't know why.
You don't know why you'd feel guilty?
No.
Are you allowed to have a wonderful life?
No.
Okay. Who decides whether or not you're allowed to have a wonderful life?
I don't know.
Okay, that's not coming up true. So part of you knows. So, okay, so let me ask you this. Do you need permission before you can have a wonderful life?
It seems like,
Uh-huh.
I really don't want to say this, but it seems like it's still my parents.
Yep. Okay.
But, oh no, come on.
Oh, parental stuff permeates everyone in so many ways. Don't worry if we keep coming back to your parents. Are you willing to step out of the story that you need your parents' permission to have a wonderful life?
Yes.
would your parents get upset if your life went smoothly and things just didn't? Things stopped falling apart.
For sure, they would be happy.
No? Okay, that's not completely true either.
Why would they need me to suffer?
Did your parents help you out a lot when you were a kid?
Can you say it again?
Did they help you out a lot when you were a kid?
A very weird relationship. I don't know what to say.
Did they ever come to your aid? Did they ever rescue you from a situation?
No.
Do you want them to rescue you from a situation?
No.
So that's not coming up true.
They were the one. I want them to rescue me.
So okay, you were saying they were the one to what?
They were the one attacking me or misusing me. So
Okay.
it was not rescue, it was opposite.
Okay. So was that normal? That was just your normal life.
Yes.
Okay. So oftentimes, even though you're grown up and you're away from your parents, you try to recreate what you feel is normal. And if that feeling you got with your parents is the normal feeling, then you try to create it in your current life, even though they're not here. So are you willing to step out of your story about what life is supposed to feel like and look like from growing up? Ooh, there it is. Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is what's happening with you, is that you're so used to having that strife and that life that with your parents being an oppression for you or of you, that now that you're out of it, you need to get that fix every now and then so it feels comfortable, so it feels like childhood. So that's where it is. That's there.
I don't hear you.
Oh, you don't hear me anymore.
Uh,
Okay, can you hear me now?
just last sentence again, please.
Okay, so you just got used to feeling the way you felt as a kid, and now you're trying to recreate that feeling as an adult. Right? And that's why you keep slipping back. Things start to go well, but things never really went well for a long time when you were a kid. So now you're doing that as an adult. So that's why we're at the clear. Are you willing to step out of that story, that pattern that you had as a kid?
Mm-hmm.
So are you willing to have your life feel good and flow for as long as possible? See the resistance there? It's such a wonderful thought, and you have to think about it and get through it, because that's you've been existing in a different realm all this time. So are you willing to step out of the story that feeling good and having a wonderful life for a long period of time is just impossible?
Yes.
Okay, how's that feel?
Uh,
Lots of
it's
emotion.
working.
Yeah. Okay. Let those emotions come. Just let them process. It's all good.
Whew. This means so much to me. I tried. I did so much to heal myself and to shift my beliefs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you can start living in a different way. Okay. Okay. How you doing?
Hmm. I need to process this. I don't know. It's really new.
Okay. That's fine. All right. So yeah, let it process, check out the new reality, and then do your best to stay in it. If you feel yourself backsliding, you need to give me a call.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Shiraz.
You're welcome. Thanks for being on. Okay, let's see who's next. Kristen is coming up to a panelist. Kristen.
Hello?
Hello.
One sec. Oh, hold on. I got to change my settings here.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't want to access my camera. Actually, do this way. I'm logged on my computer and on my phone.
Okay.
So I think if I get out of this one, and then if you want to send it to my computer one, I don't know if it shows me it's on there twice.
De Konig.
Yep.
Okay, so let's demote you. And promote you.
There we
There
go.
you are. Calling from Nebraska. Can you hear me?
Yep, now I can.
Okay, good. All right, what's going on?
I can kind of hear you. Hold on.
Kind of.
All right.
Okay,
Now I can.
okay, good. Okay. What's going on, Kristen?
I just feel like I've been doing a lot of self-sabotaging with myself. Maybe I don't deserve certain things that will make me happy, like that other people just seem to easily let into their lives.
Okay. Why would you not deserve them?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
not.
feel like, was that?
It's not coming up true.
Yeah. I don't like, I'm not exactly sure why. I feel like maybe karma needs to hit me, or I don't know.
Needs to hit you.
Yeah.
Explain that. I want to.
Like maybe I've done things to people that weren't so great, and maybe I deserve
Okay.
to be kind of slapped in the face with what I've given to people.
Cool. Okay, that's not going to work out well for you. Okay. So going back to what I was just talking to Angela about, the way the universe is set up, is if it's all just one consciousness that's broken down into all these perceptions of consciousness. So I'm a perception of consciousness, you're a perception of consciousness. The people that you hurt are perceptions of consciousness, but it's really just this one organism that's out there. So when you hurt someone, you're also the one being hurt, because you're both things. You just don't realize that from where you're sitting now, because you're perceiving yourself as Kristen consciously, but the bigger part of you knows both people are both you. So when you hurt someone and they get hurt, the karma cancels out because you've been hurt and you're hurting someone. So if you look at it that way, you don't have any karma to make up for, because it all gets canceled out in the moment you do it. But energetically, when you're doing good things, you're sending those vibrations out to attract more good things to you. So what's happening right now is you're saying, well, I'm waiting for that karma to kick in and slap me around before I'm willing to have bigger success and I feel worthy of having bigger and better things. But the karma got canceled out way back then. Anything you're experiencing now is because you've decided I need to experience it now, and you're creating that belief, sending that out and saying, I want shit to happen to my life.
Dang.
Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that you are going to suffer through karma until you've made up for all the bad things you've done in your life?
Well, if it's all canceled out, then
Yeah. And I know you get this consciously. We're trying to clear what's going on the subconscious level. So are you willing to step out of the story that you will keep suffering from that karma that you caused from all the bad things that happened in your life?
yeah.
Are you willing to step out of the story that because you've done some bad things in your life, you don't deserve good things now?
I want to. I just, yeah.
Right? You've done some bad things. Okay, that's happened in the past, but now it's your opportunity to create a better life, have wonderful things, and do wonderful things for other people. You cannot do that if you keep saying, I have to keep punishing myself because I've done bad things. Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that because you've done bad things, you cannot have wonderful things in your life now?
Yeah.
Are you willing to step out of the story that you have to keep creating punishment for yourself for all the bad things you've created or done?
Yeah.
Ooh, there's some energy there. And are you willing to step out of the story that you simply don't deserve a good life?
Yeah.
Okay. So what would happen if your life started to get better and better moving forward?
What was that?
What would happen? How would you feel if your life started getting better and better moving forward?
Better and better?
Yep.
I feel like I would not really know what to do.
Okay, so that's
Seems
another problem.
strange.
Yeah. So the other thing is your subconscious mind doesn't like unknowns. So
Yeah.
it will try to avoid unknowns at all costs. So if you don't know what you're going to do if your life gets better, you will stop your life from getting better. So this is your opportunity to decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do with my life. If things start to get better, this is the direction I'm going to go in. This is what I'm going to do, accomplish. And once you've got those concrete goals, you can start creating them. But whenever you've got an unknown in your future, you want to fill that in so your subconscious doesn't freak out and say, I don't know what's going to happen there.
Oh yeah.
Because even things like if you've got a goal of, say, creating a business, once you've created that business, if you don't know what you're going to do then, you're going to stop yourself from fully creating that business because you don't know what comes after. See, that's why you got to just keep going. And after the business, I'll do this. And after that, I'll do this. So you've got this path to go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of got myself like stuck. I feel like nothing new. Yeah, it's scary to kind of start something new, to venture out.
Yeah.
When I used to not be so scared. I don't know what happened.
Okay. But are you scared or are you excited?
I don't know. Probably scared and excited. And
okay, it actually feels like you're more excited than afraid. But here's the problem. Fear and excitement feel very, very similar, so you can get them confused.
makes
And
sense.
so when I'm doing something and it kind of feels like fear, I'll just say, it's just excitement and I'll do it anyway. Right? If you're gonna get them mixed up, let's just go with excitement and do it. Right? The way I look at fear is I think, okay, well, what if someone else did this? Would it be a good idea? Right. So if I decide, it's kind of scary to walk across a freeway. Well, if someone else did it, it would still be a bad idea. So maybe that's a good fear to have. But it's kind of scary to start a whole new business and change lives. Well, if someone else did it, that would be wonderful. I'd be cheering them on. So that's probably a good idea. So let's go with excitement on that one.
That makes sense.
Okay. All right. So, okay, how are you feeling?
I feel like that makes a lot of sense to me, more so like than not allowing myself to do things, but just to like look at it from a different way of that can't be that scary. It's exciting, and that they are easy to kind of mix up and confuse.
Okay. So should you avoid anything that feels scary?
No.
Okay, that's not coming up or true. So
No,
let's
no.
hear that now. Are you willing to destroy the belief that you should avoid anything that feels scary?
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh,
You just made me yawn.
okay, cool. All right, how's that feel? Better, worse, the same, or different?
Kind of the same.
Kind of the same. Okay. Was there anything else you were looking to change in your life? It feels like there's something there, but you're dancing around it.
Kind of.
Yeah. What are you dancing around?
I feel like there's some parts of my life that they're not good for me, that I need to get out of my life.
Okay.
Definitely some negatives that are not helping me.
Okay. And what's stopping you from getting out of them?
They've just become so like routine and normal at this point, where it's kind of like, again, like the scary of like new things are scary, and like familiar is easier to kind of deal with.
Okay.
It's everything's so much more familiar, I guess.
So you're trying to be safe, because safety is familiarity. Safety, you know what's going to happen, you know the rules, even if they suck.
Yeah.
There's no growth in safety. And the other thing is, whenever you're trying to play it safe, you've got to create reasons to be safe. So you'll create this, but if I stop doing this, this bad thing will happen. So I better stay here where it's safe.
Yeah.
When you step out of safety and get into awareness, it's a whole different place, because there's no reason to play small in awareness. There is no danger in awareness. And so life shows up in a different way. So if you're driving along the road and you're trying to be safe driving, you're in reaction mode to anyone doing something. Oh, that guy's changing lanes. I better change this. And it's just, I got to be safe. I got to be safe. If you're in awareness, you actually get more lead time. It's interesting how it works. And you're like, oh, in a little while, that guy's going to make a lane change. I'm going to slow down now so that there's no actual danger occurring, because I'll be well out of the way by the time he makes the lane change. And when you decide I'm going to start functional awareness, this starts to happen in all the areas of your life. So you get out of this feeling of danger and just say, oh, those things are happening. I'm just going to take this course adjustment. I'm going to start doing this instead. And everything starts to flow. But we are brought up with our parents wanting us to be safe, wanting us to take care of ourselves. And, it's a common thing. You hear it from all the parents. But imagine how much different the world would be if your parents are like, oh, if you're going to go out, just be aware. Not play it safe. Just be aware of what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Kids would function a whole different way, and you'd grow up in a world of so much more possibility. So are you willing to step out of the story that you need to play it safe?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, how you feeling?
I feel like my stomach hurts.
Good. We're taking to a new place. Okay. Oh, there it is. Do you need to have control of everything that happens in your life?
I like to.
Okay. What if I asked you to give all that up? Ah. So here's the thing. The opposite of control does not have to be chaos. The opposite of control can be harmony. So instead of trying to control everything and what happens and how it happens, you just say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And let's just see who shows up to help me out or what pops up. And things just start to align to you. And when you're in harmony, you have amazing moments of serendipity. And there's no effort, because control takes effort. Control wears you out.
Yeah.
And control is also restrictive, because if you decide, let's say you're making $50,000 a year and you say, you know what, this year I'm going to make $60,000. And you're doing everything to control that money flow and create $60,000. And the universe, meanwhile, has these opportunities for 80, 100, $1 million. And you're like, no, $60,000.
Yeah.
And you're putting all that effort into it. And if you just went into harmony, you'd be like, oh, I didn't think about working with you. We could put our business together and both double our income. Wow, that feels way easier. So, okay, so are you willing to step out of the story that you have to control everything? Oh, there's resistance.
Yeah. I mean, I know I need to. It's just like how you even do that is the.
It's just you start by setting the intention.
Yeah.
You start by letting go of the belief, and then just set the intention. Like, this is what I'd like to happen. I'm going to start doing things to get there, but I'm not going to be locked into that it has to happen a certain way. If it takes me on a different route and gives me new possibilities, I'm open to that. Right? And if a new possibility shows up, you don't have to take it, because you don't have to control everything. It's like, oh, that's nice, but I could do better, or that's not going to work for me. I'm just going to keep going. And then you move and flow. So the way I look at it is, picture yourself on a boat on a river. Isn't that a song? Picture yourself on a boat on a river. What song is that? Oh, someone put that in the chat. Okay. So, oh, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. That's it. That's what those. Okay. So you're on there and you're just floating downstream, and things show up on either side that, oh, I'd like that, right? So you just steer the boat to that and grab it as it shows up. And then you just go back into the stream, and then if something else shows up, you steer to that side and you grab that. And that's how life works. And things always show up. If you're on one side picking up something and something shows up on the other side, what people tend to do is like, oh, I've got to paddle, 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 go across the stream, fight the stream and get to that thing because that's what I want. But really, when you're on this side, you just have to know, oh, something else will come up further down the street. So there's no need to stress. There's no need to panic. I'll grab this now and I'll just wait for the next thing to come up. But what a lot of people are also doing is they're on this boat on the river, and behind them is something that they'd really like. And it's going to come up ahead, but they don't think that. They don't believe that. So they're going against the stream. I got to have that thing. That's the thing I need. And that's all that control energy. And when you let go of it and go into that harmony energy, it's like, oh, there's another one there. I'll just grab that one. You know what? That one's even better than the one I was trying to get back there. Why was I trying so hard to get that one back there when this one's better? That's that feeling of letting go control. So are you willing to step out of the story that you always have to be in control?
Yeah.
Okay. How's that feel?
I think it feels like I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to work on it.
So stay in that place of new possibilities and practice going for harmony over control. Practice for awareness over safety. It's going to make a huge impact on your life.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I can do that.
All right. I know you can. Okay. Thanks for playing.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. Let us go to Anat. If I'm pronouncing that right. Promote to panelist. You need to unmute.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
It's my first time that I'm acquainted to your work,
Okay.
and I was captivated by what you said to the previous attendees. I actually am not aware to my limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Like the subconscious runs, of course it runs the show. I start from the facts. I was diagnosed with arthritis,
Mm-hmm.
debilitating one, and I was a dancer before and a yoga teacher, and the emotional pain is by far stronger and bigger than the physical pain, and I'm trying to, I'm a doer, so I've done almost everything in the physical plane, in the like supplements, doctors, osteopaths, physiotherapists, and there is no substantial progress. So I started to delve into the patterns of my thinking, what created the toxicity in the body that led to the, of course I have an issue of control and safety. This is something that I could identify. And I can say that I'm ready to give up control and safety, but if I'm honest with myself, it is so ingrained, like safety is a core value to me, almost. So how can I ever give up safety?
Change your core values.
Sorry?
Change
Pardon?
your core values. So you've decided that the core values are necessary for you to be in this world, for you to exist. That's who you've decided you are. But in order to get different results, you have to become someone different. You have to change your core values to change who you are. And hi, can I finish the call, please? Sorry, my dog is wanting attention now. And when you realize, well, what if I just picked a different core value, right? Instead of safety, what if I picked awareness? How different would my life end up in that core value? But you're the one that is deciding this is core, this is necessary, it's wrong to change it. That's all a decision on your part. So my question to you is, what would life be like without the arthritis?
Wow, freedom, joy.
Okay, neither of those came up true.
Sorry,
Neither of those answers came up true.
they are not true.
They're not true to your subconscious mind, no. So when did the arthritis develop? What was going on in your life?
I lost my husband 2 years ago, and in order not to delve into the grief and the sorrow, like I thought if I would cry, I would cry a river. So I suppressed the sorrow and um, drowned myself into somatic work, like I did a lot of soma work, and which was my salvation.
But have you actually dealt with that grief?
Sorry?
Have you dealt with the grief and the sorrow?
No, not.
You need to deal with that. You need to release that. If you have to cry a river, you need to cry a river and then finish crying so you can come back to happiness. That when you suppress emotions, it's not like they just go away. They're stored energetically in your body, and they stagnate and cause things to go wrong in your body. And until you're willing to release those emotions, you will just get worse.
I don't know how. Like it's like for me to process emotion is like to wallow in the soul. This it's like.
What if you could process it without wallowing in it? So again, it's all the stories that you create. So if your story is, if I process an emotion, I have to wallow in it, that's what you're going to do every time. So are you willing to step out of the story that when you process an emotion, you have to wallow in it?
The story is that I don't want to face emotions. I don't want to see them. I don't want them in my life, like the negative emotions and the positive emotions too.
But they're all part of your life. And when you have an emotion and you let it out, you process that emotion, then it goes away. It transmutes into love and joy once you're done with it. If you don't process it, it just causes crap in your life. So you're avoiding all this because you don't want to go through the emotions, but the emotions are the healthy route to get you back to health. Right? And you've compounded it by saying, well, when I do process an emotion, I wallow in it. You may have done that on occasion, but you don't have to do it all the time. But you've decided, no, that's my story now. That gives me another reason not to have to face the emotions, because now I've made it worse. So I can justify not looking at my emotions. And so you're just adding these layers to it. Whereas if you start stripping away the layers, let the emotions out, then you can come to a happy place again. So are you willing to step out of the story that if you process an emotion, you have to wallow in it?
I think that, as I told you, the story is not this. The story is that emotions are dangerous.
Yeah.
So
and we can get to that, but we have to get out of the wallowing part first. That's another story that's there that we need to remove. Then we'll go to the dangerous part. Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that when you process an emotion, you have to wallow in it?
I don't know how to do it.
Just when you say yes and mean it.
Yes.
Okay, and who taught you that emotions are dangerous?
Life.
Life taught you that. How did life teach you that emotions are dangerous?
Because when I was in a young age, I lost my mother to cancer, and in order to continue with life, like to go forward, the best strategy that I found was to uh, to almost ignore the like I made a reduction. I said everyone dies. It's better that she like I made rationalization. I learned that staying above the neck is the safest place and that I can function like this.
Okay. And how old were you?
17.
Okay. But you're older and wiser and have much more experience now.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. When it comes to dealing with emotions, are you still behaving as though you're 17?
Sure.
Okay.
Exactly the same.
So what if you stop doing that? Because a 17-year-old has only learned so much on how to deal with emotions. You've learned a lot more. And if you keep reacting as a 17-year-old, you're going to get the exact same results as a 17-year-old. You're going to come to the same conclusions. So are you willing to destroy the belief that you have to keep dealing with emotions as a 17-year-old?
I immediately jump to the question, how do I do this? It's emotion is not me. I am so shunned from emotion. I refrain from emotion. So
Yeah. But again, you're doing that from a 17-year-old you who didn't have enough experience to really handle those emotions.
that's
Right?
why.
Now you've accumulated a lot more wisdom, a lot more experience, so you can handle those emotions in a different way. You can get through it. 17-year-old you can't do that, and you're still trying to do things according to 17-year-old you. So when you're willing to step out of this story, things will shift. Right? The emotions may come up, and then you have to deal with them, but you can deal with them in a better way, in a way you can that you can handle, and then let those emotions go. But right now, you've decided, just don't deal with the emotions. Don't deal with any emotions. That's the only way I can get through it. And that's a story on your part.
Mhm.
So are you willing to are you willing to destroy the belief that you have to handle all these emotions as if you were 17?
Yes. Like I think that the inner belief is that if I will be ready to face emotion, to sit with emotion, it will kill me. I will drown.
Okay. And again, that's a story you've created that keeps you stuck and doesn't let you deal with the emotions.
Mhm.
So are you willing to step out of the story that dealing with emotions will kill you?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of the story that the best way to deal with trauma and adversity is to ignore all the emotions?
To ignore emotions.
Are you willing to destroy the belief that that's the best way?
Yeah, this is exactly how I think.
Yep.
Not to ignore, but to bypass them and stay with the rational sphere. What
Yeah,
is needed to be done.
but you can
I
still
feel like
go through emotions and come back to rationality.
okay.
See, when you truly understand that you are just the source energy, you are just a perception looking through your body to experience the world, then whatever emotions you go through as that person doesn't affect you spiritually. You can just watch the emotions process, and it's not you. It's not really you. It's just this body you've created. And when you really understand that, you can get to a place, and I've done this several times now, where you're having an intense emotion, but at the same time, you're watching yourself have that intense emotion. So the physical you is sad or angry or whatever, but at the same time, there's this duality. It's like, wow, look at me, look how sad I am in this moment. And that keeps you in that rational space. And then you just watch the emotion process, even though you're fully feeling it. It doesn't diminish the feeling, you fully feel it, but you're also observing it. And then the emotion dissipates and you get back to a place of happiness and joy. And this is possible for every person. You just have to allow it to happen.
You know, Shiraz, but when the genie is out of the bottle,
Yep.
when I'm starting to panic, I can't detach myself. Like my whole identity is around the well-being of the body.
Yeah. But when the genie's out of the bottle, you get to make wishes and get whatever you want. So are you willing to destroy the belief that if you let the genie out of the bottle, only bad things will happen?
What I meant by the genie out of the bottle is that when starts, for example, the emotion of...
Yep. Oh, I know exactly what you meant. I'm turning it around on you. So,
Mhm.
so this is your story, that when you start the emotional thing, you just can't get out of it. It's just going to get...
I'm fused with it. Like when you talked about the observer that is looking at the human being.
Okay,
So,
but again, you're not fused with it. You're deciding to be fused with it. 17-year-old you was fused with it. That's all she could do. You don't have to be fused with it. You right now, you are arguing with me to create limitation and sadness in your life, rather than saying, you know what, let's just shift it so I can be happy and get through this once and for all. You are arguing with me to create a worse life for yourself. Think about that.
are you sure that if I will process emotions and that I will heal?
When you are creating restriction in your life, you create bad things, right? Emotions are very important. I've seen people that have suppressed emotions that have created hernias for themselves, that have created colon cancer for themselves. That, arthritis is another way to do it. Arthritis, though, it feels like you are very angry with yourself or someone, and you're not willing to process that.
No, anger is not my main emotion. Fear is my main emotion. Fear and sorrow. I rarely am angry on people.
Okay.
I forgive quickly. I don't forget, but I don't hold grudges. Never. I move.
Again, that's not coming up as true. So do you have to suppress all your emotions?
Do I have to suppress?
Yeah. All your emotions, yes.
No.
Okay, so that's not coming up true either. So are you willing to destroy the belief that you have to suppress all your emotions?
Yes. Shiraz, are you sure that when someone is willing to give up the patterns for which he sees the world, that there will be more flow and less restriction, and then total cure will happen?
Ultimately, yes. The journey through it may not be smooth, but you have to be willing to take the journey to get to that place where everything works well. Right? So you may go through some emotional upheavals because you've got so much suppressed for so long. Or it may come out in bits and pieces and you just deal with it as it comes out. I don't know what's going to happen when you start to allow yourself to feel. But I do know as long as you do not allow yourself to feel, you're creating illness in your body. That's how it's decided to come out, because it's going to come out one way or another. If you are content to say, you know what, I don't have to ever have my emotions, but I'm just going to have arthritis and it's going to get worse for the rest of my life, then that's a choice on your part. But if you say, you know, I don't want to have this arthritis, I want to have a life of ease, and it may mean letting go of these emotions and going through these emotions, then you can create that for yourself as well.
But do you believe in like miraculous healing, like even if the body lost cartilage, or I'm going back to the rational stuff.
So there's a lot of people listening to you that are laughing right now because you don't know my story. I got rheumatoid arthritis at the age of 22.
Oh.
I suffered with it for almost 2 decades before I met someone who started this whole journey for me on shifting beliefs. And after working with him for 2 weeks, he said, so here's what's going on, Shiraz. You believe you're responsible for everyone in your life. And I said, no, I don't. He goes, I know you don't believe it consciously, but unconsciously, you believe you're responsible for everyone in your life. And the more people show up in your life, the more responsibility you have. And I said, okay, I know I'm a responsible person, but I don't believe I'm responsible for everyone. But even so, what's that got to do with arthritis?
Right.
And he said, you don't want to be responsible for everyone. I said, obviously. He said, so if you're lying in bed in pain, you have the perfect excuse not to be responsible for anyone.
Wow.
Solution to a problem you don't even know you have.
Wow.
So I suffered for almost 20 years like that. And then I said, well, listen, if that's the problem, then all I have to do is say, I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me, and I shouldn't have arthritis. He goes, yeah, if you say it and you mean it, then you shouldn't have arthritis. So I said, fine, I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me. I woke up the next morning, no pain, no inflammation, more mobility. The arthritis had left my body. Now, I still had the damage done, but I was happy not to have any pain issues or inflammation issues. And since then, I've learned that this works for illness, this works for money, this works for relationships, and it's all about the beliefs. You are creating your arthritis based on your beliefs. And a lot of that belief comes from fear, and there's anger in there too. I can feel that. When you're willing to let that go, when you're willing to be sad, when you're willing to let go of the fear and everything else, it's going to start coming out. Now, I don't know what's going to happen for you when that all starts to come out. It may be a rough ride, but once it's out, everything's going to change for you. You have to be willing to let it come out. And when you're willing, it tends to come out in the best ways. If you're resisting, it tends to come out in the worst ways. So yeah, I know how bad arthritis impacts you physically and emotionally. I've been through it. But I also know it's coming from your beliefs. And when you're willing to shift them, the arthritis will go.
It's like you have to surrender.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for illuminating this.
You're welcome. How are you feeling?
A little bit more hope.
Okay. So as much as that sounds good, I want you to get out of hope and get into knowing that you're going to change, that you're going to get out of this, right? The one drawback with hope is that hope is like, well, something may come along and change and save me. And whereas knowing, it's like, no, I'm going to change it. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get healthier. I'm going to get happier. There's no doubt. It's just going to happen.
And do you believe that the straight route is through this sphere and not through the material stuff? As I said, supplements and
Oh, well, here's the thing. When you get to that place of, I know I'm going to change, your body may just shift and the change will occur that naturally or magically, depending on how you look at it, or the proper method for you will show up. So you'll suddenly find a supplement and you're like, that works for my arthritis. And it's because now you've come into alignment with getting out of the arthritis. So it may not just be this instantaneous physical change. It's like, oh, I found this supplement, or I found this doctor, or this new thing works. This exercise helps me out. Those things all just show up so that you get out of the arthritis into a better space. You don't know how that, you don't know the how, you just know it's going to happen.
That's very right. I have lots of synchronicities, and even this webinar is a good synchronicity that happened. I've never heard of you before, and yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. How you doing?
It's like the responsibility to heal myself, as you said, not to look outside and do.
Yeah.
It's a little bit frightening. How shall I do it?
Yeah. So again, just set the intention you're going to do it. The how will show up.
To set an intention that I'm going that I'm changing, that I intend to change myself, my personality, my patterns. That's what you mean.
Yes, exactly. Or even just simply, I'm going to find the best way to get rid of my arthritis.
Yeah.
Just do it. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how it's going to show up, but I'm going to do it.
And what shall I do when I start to panic? When you wake up with the stiffness and the inflammation, and you the first moment you open your eyes, you're panicking. What can be a good self-talk, an effective self-talk to
For me, it's just I'm going through this in this moment, and it's going to pass. It's part of the process, and I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. I am getting better. I'm on the path. And so this is nothing to panic about. This is just part of the process.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for being on. Okay. All right, we are at 4:11. We are over, so I am going to call it there. Remember, we have one more workshop at 9 o'clock Eastern tonight, and that's focused on mindset and belief shifting. So I invite you to be there. I will be back here on the Breakthrough Show, Rewriting Reality, the last Monday of November, whatever the hell date that is, but 3 o'clock Eastern. Look forward to seeing you. The rest of the Breakthrough shows, I believe, are on hiatus until the new year, but look for some amazing things in the new season. And thank you so much for being part of this. Be well, be aware, and be magical.